going on YouTube? Steel Orange here, and today what I'm going to be doing is my third video in the Smite 101 series that I'm doing. This is a series on how to improve at Smite. It's like a training plan for the the things you can focus on to get better, over the long term, just what's going to cause you to improve the most as you play this game more and more and more, and sort of the concepts that you want to focus on to make your playtime not just fun, but actually productive in terms of making it better. So, this is the third video. It's going to be on how to build, which is sort of a loaded topic because I can't just tell you how to build, but rather I'm going to tell you tips on what to focus on so you can improve your ability to build for different characters as you play this game, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is give you a small sort of quick fix. This is for if you are brand new to this game or, relatively new, you've only been playing for a couple months or something like that, or even like half a year, and you just don't really know, you don't know most of the items, you don't know what fits on what character at all, or why you're building anything. One way that you can immediately make yourself improve to a small amount is for whatever character you're playing, go find some pro player that played that character in a match or played them on stream or something like that, or just somebody better than you, and just copy their build, right? I mean, at the very least, you're going to be building items that make sense on that character in some scenario. It might not be the most ideal or the most optimized build for the exact team comp that you have and the team comp that they have and the situation that you're in, but at least the items are ones that make sense. It's not like you're building Hasten Fatalis on Raw, which is what I did when I started this game because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just like, man, I hate being slow when I auto attack. I'm gonna build Fatalis, right? Like I had no idea what to do, and if I had just copied a pro build, maybe a pro happened to build 10 Boots, Book of Thoth, Rod of Healing, or whatever, Asclepius, Obshard, brought out to Hootie, something else. It might not have been the perfect build for every single game that I played, but it sure would have been a lot better in every situation than Fatalis on Ra. So that's your quick fix, is if you really have no idea what you're doing, for now, go find a pro build or somebody who's better than you that played that character and had a build on them and copy it. But for those of you, if you're looking for some sort of true improvement on like understanding how to build, how to counter build, how to build situationally, and just really improving your understanding of builds, you want to focus on, when pros build something or when you build something, focus on understanding why, not only why you're building the items that you're building on a certain character, but also why you're building them in the order that you're building them and why you're building them in the situations that you're building them. So a good way to do this is, if you're watching somebody who's streaming or if you're watching a YouTube video, ask questions about why they built, not only, ask them, why did you build Wingblade on Najah here, because, I thought Najah was like an ability-based character and you should only build Power Pen, why are you building a Wingblade, right? Or, why did you build, Jotun's Wrath and Brawler Speed Stick before you built Titan's Bane or something like, why are you building Flat Pen before you're building Percentage Pen? Get that order down. Or, why did you build, I'm trying to think, like, why did you build defense as in the 5th slot on Circuit in this game, but in the other game that you played, you didn't build defense at all, right? Like, where's that situation? Or why did you build, this defensive item first on Bologna this game, but this defensive item first on Bologna that game? Or why are you not building any power or like any offensive items on solo laners and not building damage because I thought damage was the best thing ever? Like, ask these questions to people. Because they will, they'll explain that, most people, as long as you ask them sincerely, not like, why did you build this? Like, you're stupid, you shouldn't be building that. Like, if you ask sincere questions about builds, most people will be happy to answer them, and you can learn things, and you want to, you don't want to just see, like, they're building, this item, but why are they building it, right? So yeah, that's sort of it. And then as you do that, you can sort of start practicing building your own, coming up with your own build situationally, so for example, depending on the game, I brought up the Wingblade on Najah just as an example. Depending on the game, sometimes I'll build Wingblade and the third item is Najah, sometimes I'll build Deathbringer, sometimes I'll build more Pen and then go into a Titan's Bin and then build Deathbringer last. It depends on the situation, because I sort of understand what those different items do and when it's going to benefit me. And I sort of understand the power curves that you get from building different items in different orders, and so it's good to start focusing on that. And the best way to do that is to just ask questions of people who are better than you, particularly pros, and just don't ask them, what should I build in this character, because the pros don't even agree on that, right? Like, I know that Adapting builds Mercury different than Captain Twig builds Mercury, that builds different than Mask builds Mercury, that builds different than Weekend builds Mercury, right? They all build the character differently. So it's not like there's one option that's better. And so you don't want to ask them, what should I be building this character, but why are you building what you're building on this character, right? Because that way, when you ask, adapting why he's building Bloodforged on Mercury, he's going to tell you that it gives you a lot of power, and the passive gives him movement speed, which increases his power and allows him to string together a bunch of kills because he gets movement speed and a shield. Whereas if you then go to Weaken and say, why are you building Asi instead of Bloodforged on Mercury, he's going to tell you that he likes the passive that allows him to survive at low health with the crit that he gets because you're life stealing a lot, and he also likes the flat pen because flat pen before percentage pen is really efficient in this game. And so you're going to get those two different answers, but you're going to understand why they're doing them, and that's going to give you more insight into the builds that they're using, and you can sort of understand when to use this versus that, or at least why you're building what you're building, and that can affect, sort of your play style with a character. If you're building, the Bloodforge over the Asi, you're really going to be focusing on backline squishy characters, whereas Mercury can sort of just or sort of with Asi, you can sort of just get in the middle of the fight and just punch anybody that comes after you, and just heal up forever. So it just, there's different play styles depending on different builds. And so understanding your builds is not only going to help you react situationally to what you see and counter build better, and, build to your team comp and against the other team comp better, but it's also going to help you have your play style be according to the build that you have because you understand it better. So just make sure that you're asking those questions when you see the different people build. If you're playing against a person in a casual game and, let's say they stomp you, or even if they don't, let's just say you had a good game against someone and you see them build something and you realize, hey, I wouldn't have built that there. Ask them why they did it. Be sincere. You can tell them, like, I'm sincerely curious. I'm not trying to get on you, but I'm just curious, why did you build this item there? And just see what they say. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe it wasn't even the right thing to do, but at least you can get their thought process behind it and decide whether you think that makes sense or not. And it just gives you more insight. And maybe they were thinking about something in their build that you just weren't thinking about. So it's just good to get that information. Just really start thinking about understanding the items that you're building and the order that you're building them in. So that's it for this video. Hope that you enjoyed it and hope that this helps you improve. And I will see you guys later.